Emma texted me at 11:47 p.m. Dad, why is Mom's Tesla parked next to Marcus's Mercedes in the executive garage at midnight? I was sitting in my home office reviewing investor decks for our Series D round. $150 million, 9 weeks away. 7 years of building TechVista solutions from nothing, from a seed stage AI healthcare startup to a company that mattered. Marcus Brennan, our CEO, liked to say we were changing the world, and I believed him. I was his COO, his operator, the guy who made the vision real while he sold it to the world. Olivia, my wife, was working late. Again. She'd been working late a lot since she became VP of product management 3 years ago. Product launches, sprint planning, roadmap meetings. I understood. I worked late too. We were building something. That's what startup life looked like. But Emma's text made my coffee go cold in my hand. I pulled up my laptop. TechVista headquarters. 300 employees across 70,000 square feet in Palo Alto. I'd negotiated the lease, designed the security system. My keycard could access every log in the building. The garage key fob sat on my desk. Black plastic, worn smooth from 7 years of swiping. TechVista exec engraved on the front. There was a crack in one corner where I dropped it rushing to a meeting 2 years ago. It fit in my palm the way keys do when you've carried them long enough they become part of your routine. I pressed the button. The security interface loaded. I didn't want to look, but I had to. The footage didn't lie. Olivia's Tesla had a custom vanity plate. Pro DMGR, product manager. She was proud of that title. I'd helped her negotiate it when Marcus recruited her from her previous company. Aggressive recruiting. You're exactly the kind of talent we need, he'd said. I'd been proud. My wife joining my company, building something together. The security log showed her Tesla arriving at the executive garage at 10:07 p.m. on November 2nd. Departing at 2:34 a.m. Marcus's black Mercedes was already there, left 5 minutes after her. I scrolled back. October 26th, same pattern. October 19th, October 11th, September 28th. My systems thinking mind did what it always did, found the pattern, analyzed the data. 23 separate dates over 8 months. Always the executive garage. Always late night. Always Marcus's car already there or arriving within minutes. Always departing within minutes of each other. I'd worked late those same nights, building Marcus's company. She was building something else. The equity certificate was in my desk drawer. I pulled it out. Heavy cream-colored paper with the embossed TechVista logo. You could feel the watermark if you held it up to the light. My signature at the bottom in blue ink from 7 years ago. 2,400,000 options at 0.25 per share. The math was simple. $8 million if we hit our IPO projections. 8 million reasons to stay quiet. I looked at our wedding photo on my desk. 20 years. Emma was a baby in that photo, held between us on the church steps. The frame was silver, slightly tarnished. I'd repositioned it that morning, some superstitious habit making sure it faced me while I worked. I opened the desk drawer again, found the blue velvet box where I kept our wedding rings when I took them off to wash my hands or work out. Simple platinum bands. Mine had wear marks from 20 years of keyboards and handshakes and life. I could feel the tiny scratches. Hers looked newer, smoother, because she took it off sometimes. I'd noticed that 6 months ago. Told myself it was because of product demos. She gestured with her hands a lot during presentations. Didn't want to seem married when pitching to investors. Startup culture. Everyone made those compromises. The box closed with a definitive snap, like a door shutting. My phone rang at 7:14 a.m. I hadn't slept. I was still sitting at my desk, the equity certificate in front of me, the garage log still open on my laptop. James, parking garage, now. Trish Chamberlain, our general counsel, 49 years old, brilliant, terrifying when she needed to be. She sounded terrified. I grabbed my jacket. The garage key fob went in my pocket out of habit. Walked to my car. The drive to headquarters took 12 minutes. I counted them. Trish was standing next to her Prius on the 3rd level, empty at this hour. She was holding a manila folder. Her hands were shaking. I could lose my law license for this, she said. No greeting, no small talk. But I can't watch another good man get destroyed by Marcus's pattern. Pattern? She opened the folder. 30 pages of printer paper, standard office stock, but it felt heavier than it should, like evidence always does. Yellow highlighter marks on specific lines, timestamps, messages. Slack messages, Trish said, between Marcus and Olivia, 14 months of them. I pulled them for the board inquiry we're supposed to be conducting quietly. But James, you need to see these. She handed me the first page. The highlighter had that chemical smell. Her hands had been shaking when she marked these pages, deciding which ones would destroy a marriage. Marcus Brennan, 2:17 a.m. You're the only one who truly understands the vision. Everyone else just executes. You create with me. Olivia Chen Sullivan, 2:34 a.m. I've never felt this seen, like my ideas actually matter, like I matter. Marcus Brennan, 11:43 p.m. Canceled my evening plans, can't stop thinking about our product discussion or you. The pages rustled as I flipped through them, that distinctive sound of printer paper. Slightly stiff, slightly accusing. This is the third woman, James. Trish's voice was quiet, careful. There's a pattern. Nicole Thompson, 2 years ago, VP of engineering. Before her, someone in marketing. We paid them both to go away. Settlement agreements with NDAs. I processed them as employment disputes. Your signature is on the approval forms as COO. You didn't know. None of us told you what they really were. Third, and your wife is just the latest. The folder had more pages. Earlier messages, 6 months before the garage timestamp started. Marcus cultivating, grooming. Your product instincts are exceptional. I need your strategic input on the roadmap. Just us. No noise from the team. Coffee turned into a 3-hour conversation. Best meeting I've had all year. I'd seen those Slack messages in real time. Scrolled past them in company channels. Thought, good. Marcus is finally recognizing Olivia's talent. Thought, she deserves this visibility. Thought, we're building something special. I'd rationalized every red flag. Late night messages, startup culture, canceled evening plans, dedication, 3-hour coffee meetings, strategic alignment. Sometimes loyalty makes you blind. Why are you showing me this? My voice sounded distant, clinical, like I was reading an incident report about someone else's life. Because you're the only person in this company who can stop him, Trish said. You're the COO. You control operations, HR, the board process. David Parker trusts you. The investors trust you. If you walk, this whole Series D collapses, and Marcus knows it. She pulled out another document, legal size paper. Confidential settlement agreement in bold at the top. Red sealed stamp. Nicole Thompson's NDA, $200,000 to disappear. Your signature approved the payment. You thought it was a wrongful termination settlement. It wasn't. It was hush money because Marcus got her pregnant and then pressured her to... Trish stopped. She left the company, left the state. He moved on. I stood there in the parking garage, fluorescent lights humming, concrete and oil smells, holding evidence of my wife's affair and my CEO's pattern and my own complicity. What do I do with this? That's up to you, Trish said. But James, if you've ever ignored red flags because you wanted to believe in someone's better nature, just know you're not alone. Sometimes the people we're loyal to don't deserve it. And we don't see it until we can't unsee it. She left the folder in my hands, walked to her car, drove away. I stood there for a long time. The papers felt substantial. About 30 sheets, evidence I didn't want but couldn't ignore. I didn't go to the office. I drove to the temporary apartment I'd rented 3 days ago after Olivia told me she needed space to process. She'd moved back in with her parents. Emma thought we were working through things. She didn't know her mother had already decided. Olivia agreed to meet me at the apartment at noon. She walked in wearing her Tech Vista hoodie, our company logo, our mission statement on the back, innovation, integrity, impact. I used to believe in those words. We all carried them. The culture deck in our backpacks, the values in our Slack bios, the mission we told ourselves justified the 80-hour weeks. I put the Slack printouts on the kitchen table, didn't say anything, just let her see them. She went pale, then red. Then something settled in her face. Resolution, like she'd been waiting for this moment. I'm not going to lie, she said. Not anymore. Yes, it's true, all of it. Marcus and I have been... She paused, looking for the right product management language. We've been involved for 14 months, maybe longer if you count the emotional component. The Stanford Alumni magazine was on the counter. I'd grabbed it from my office mailbox that morning. November issue. Marcus's face on the cover. Visionaries under 50. There was a smaller photo on page 42. Marcus with his arm around Olivia at our Series C celebration 6 months ago, both smiling. The caption, Tech Vista Leadership celebrates 400 meter valuation. I'd been proud of that photo, proof we were a team, a family. He listens to me, Olivia continued. Her voice was steady, like she was presenting quarterly metrics. Actually listens, not just about work, about ideas, about what I want to build in this world. You and I, we stopped listening to each other years ago, James. You became the operator. I became the product person. We functioned, but we didn't connect. So you slept with our CEO. I needed someone who made me feel brilliant, who saw me as more than the logistics partner who handled the home front while you handled operations. Marcus made me feel... She stopped, started again. This is hard to say. Try. I'm pregnant. The room tilted. The magazine slid off the counter, slapping sound as pages hit the tile floor. It's Marcus's baby, due in July. And James, I need you to step up here. Be a real partner. This is complicated, but we can handle it like mature adults. We've built a company worth $400 million. We can figure out a family situation without destroying everything we've created. I just need you to step up. Step up, like this was a product problem, a sprint planning issue, a resource allocation challenge we could solve with the right framework. You're asking me to raise your affair baby. I'm asking you to be the man I married, the man who solves problems, who builds things, who doesn't give up when things get hard. Her voice had that product pitch cadence now, confident, certain. This baby deserves stability. Marcus is willing to support financially, obviously, but he can't be public about it. The board would force him out. The Series D would collapse. 300 people would lose their jobs. We're on the verge of something revolutionary, James. AI diagnostics that will save lives. Are you really going to destroy that because your ego can't handle... Get out. James, get out of this apartment. Get out of my life. Take your culture deck and your innovation and your mature adult conversation and get out. She stood there, shocked, like a product demo had crashed and she didn't have a backup plan. You're being emotional, she finally said. Yeah, I am, because you just asked me to handle your affair with our CEO like it's a sprint planning issue, and I'm done. Done enabling, done problem solving, done being the reliable operator while you and Marcus change the world. I walked to the door, opened it. She left without another word. Olivia insisted on one couples therapy session to process this constructively. She'd already found a therapist. Dr. Amanda Foster, 46, practiced in Menlo Park, specialized in high-performing couples navigating complex relationship dynamics. Translation: rich people who want their betrayals managed with professional language. Dr. Foster's office smelled like lavender and disappointment. Olivia brought her highlighted copy of our company's culture deck, 50 pages, glossy cover. Our values: integrity, innovation, impact, printed in Helvetica. She put it on the coffee table between us. We built this together, our marriage and our company. The same principles apply. We hold each other accountable. We innovate solutions. We create impact despite obstacles. Dr. Foster nodded, professional, neutral. Olivia, can you tell me, in your own words, what brought you to therapy today? James is having difficulty accepting that I'm pregnant with our CEO's baby. I'm trying to find a path forward that preserves both our family and our company. But James is... She looked at me. You're being inflexible. You always were. That's why you're a great COO. Systems, processes. But relationships aren't processes, James. They're messy. They require adaptation. I looked at my wedding ring. Platinum band, 20 years of wear marks. I'd taken it off at the gym that morning, put it back on for this session out of habit. Habit. That's what our marriage had become. Olivia, are you having an affair? Dr. Foster asked. Direct. I liked her. Olivia paused, calculated. Then, yes, with Marcus, I'm pregnant. And I need James to step up and be a father to this baby. That's what real partners do. We can handle this like mature adults without destroying everything we've built. Dr. Foster's eyebrows went up. Just slightly. Professional mask cracking. I stood up, removed my ring, placed it on the coffee table next to the culture deck, then removed Olivia's ring from her hand. She didn't resist, and put both in the blue velvet box I'd brought in my pocket. You just asked me to handle your affair with our CEO like it's a sprint planning issue, I said. Voice quiet, calm, decided. I'm done. I walked out. Dr. Foster called after me. I kept walking. I sat in my car in the therapist's parking lot. Rain was pouring. November in Palo Alto. I didn't turn on the wipers. I couldn't see through the windshield, but I couldn't see anything clearly anyway. My phone buzzed. Emma. Dad, are you okay? Mom texted me something weird about therapy. Are you guys okay? I looked at the blue velvet box in my passenger seat. Wedding rings inside, 20 years. The box had this definitive snap when it closed. I'd heard that sound earlier, knew what it meant. Can you meet me tomorrow? I asked. I need to explain some things. Dad, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry. Tomorrow, please. The rain kept falling. I finally turned on the wipers. The world came into focus. Slightly. Marcus called me into his office 2 days after the therapy session. I'd been avoiding headquarters, working remotely, telling people I had a family emergency, which was true, just not the kind they imagined. His office was corner suite, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Palo Alto hills, minimalist desk, Herman Miller chair, Stanford MBA diploma on the wall. That glossy magazine with his face on it sat prominently on the credenza. Visionaries under 50. He was leaning back in his chair when I walked in, confident, relaxed, like we were about to discuss Q4 projections. Close the door, James. I did. Stood there. Didn't sit. I know you know, he said. Olivia told me about the therapy session. The rings. Very dramatic, by the way. Not your usual style. We're done here, Marcus. Sit down, please. Not a request. Still the CEO giving orders. I stayed standing. He sighed, opened his desk drawer, pulled out a revised equity certificate. Same cream-colored paper, same embossed logo, different numbers. 3,600,000 options, same strike price, potential $12 million at IPO. He slid it across the desk. Promotion to president, public-facing role, board seat. Your fingerprints on every strategic decision going forward. You've earned it, James. 7 years of building this company. Don't throw it away now. The paper sat there between us. I didn't touch it. You slept with my wife, got her pregnant, and now you're trying to buy me. I'm trying to recognize your value. Olivia and I, what happened between us is complicated. Adult relationships are messy. But you and I, James, we've built something extraordinary, AI diagnostics that will save lives. You grew up in foster care. You know what it's like to have nothing, to build security from zero. Don't throw away $12 million because your ego... My ego? Yes, your ego. Your wife pursued me, James. She's ambitious, brilliant. Those are qualities I admire. I'm flattered by ambitious women. You can either be a team player and keep your personal problems private, or you can tank everything we've built, including Emma's future in this industry. Your choice. He said it so casually, like he was discussing vendor contracts. Emma's future, 300 employees, $12 million, all the pressure points, all the leverage. I looked at the magazine on his credenza, his photo, that confident smile. Then the smaller photo below, Marcus with his arm around Olivia, both glowing at our Series C celebration. You're threatening my daughter to keep me quiet. I'm being realistic about consequences. Emma's a talented engineer. But this is a small industry. People talk. If you blow this up, her career gets caught in the blast radius. Is that what you want? To destroy her reputation because you can't adapt to complexity? Adapt to complexity, like 20 years of marriage was just a complex system requiring optimization. Get out of my office, James. Think about the offer. Board meeting is in 3 days. I need your answer by then. I picked up the equity certificate, $12 million, heavier than it should be. I put it back on his desk. Some things cost more than money. His expression changed. The confidence cracked, just for a second. You're making a mistake. No, I made the mistake 7 years ago when I helped you build a company culture that enables predators. I'm fixing it now. The emergency board meeting happened on a Thursday. 7 members sitting around the conference table. David Parker, our lead investor, $80 million in capital at stake, sat at the head. Marcus to his right, me to his left, Trish at the end with her legal pads and practiced neutral expression. I'd brought my handwritten resignation letter. 1 page, heavy cotton paper, my personal letterhead, blue fountain pen, ink. I'd written it at 5 a.m. that morning. My hand had shaken on certain words. You could see the indentations where the pen pressed harder. Complicit, dignity. Effective immediately. David opened the meeting. James requested this session. Emergency agenda. James, you have the floor. I put the resignation letter on the table. No one touched it, like it was evidence at a crime scene. I'm resigning as COO effective in 30 days unless governance changes. Silence. Marcus's face went carefully blank. What governance changes? David asked. Careful, measured. Venture capitalist calculating risk. I nodded at Trish. She opened her folder, pulled out the NDA from Nicole Thompson's settlement, legal size paper. Confidential settlement agreement header, red sealed stamp, my signature at the bottom, approving the payment. 2 years ago, we paid Nicole Thompson $200,000. I signed off on it as COO. I was told it was an employment dispute settlement. It wasn't. It was hush money because Marcus engaged in a sexual relationship with a direct report, created a hostile work environment, and the company covered it up. David picked up the document, started reading. His expression didn't change. Venture capitalists are good at masks. There's a pattern, I continued. Nicole wasn't the first. My wife, VP of Product Management, is currently pregnant with Marcus's child. He's offered me a $12 million equity increase to keep quiet. This isn't governance. This is institutional rot. Marcus finally spoke. James is going through a difficult personal situation, understandably emotional, but dragging private matters into corporate governance. Is this true? David cut him off, looking at Marcus, then at Trish. Is there a pattern of settlements? Trish's voice was steady, professional. 3 settlements in 5 years. Total $600,000 paid. All processed as employment disputes. All included NDAs. All involved women who reported directly or indirectly to Marcus. David set down the NDA, looked at the other board members, silent calculations happening, fiduciary duty, Series D at risk, reputation damage, SEC scrutiny, lawsuits. The math was simple. Marcus was a liability. James, you're being emotional, David said, careful words. Think about the 300 families depending on this company. Think about the patients who will benefit from our technology. Think about the Series D we close in 9 weeks. Is this really the time? I am thinking about families. That's why I'm leaving. Unless you remove Marcus as CEO and institute independent oversight, I walk. And when I walk, I talk. To reporters, to the SEC, to every employee who deserves to know what culture they're actually working in. Marcus's carefully blank expression cracked. You're threatening the board? I'm giving you a choice. Accountability now or catastrophe later. David looked at the other board members. 6 faces, different calculations. Same conclusion, eventually. We'll need to review this thoroughly, David said. Personnel decisions require due process. You have 72 hours, I said. Then my resignation becomes public, with reasons attached. I stood up, left the letter on the table, walked out. Trish caught me in the parking garage 20 minutes later. That was either the bravest thing I've ever seen or the stupidest. Probably both. David will come around. He's a pragmatist. Marcus is a liability. The numbers don't work with this much risk. She paused. But James, you just made yourself unemployable in this industry. You know that, right? Yeah, I know. She handed me another document. Nicole Thompson wants to talk to you. She heard you were pushing back. She's willing to break her NDA if it helps. I met Nicole at a coffee shop in Mountain View, neutral territory. She looked younger than 29, tired, like she'd been fighting a battle for 2 years with no one watching. I heard what you did in the board meeting, she said. No small talk, straight to it. Thank you. I should have known. I signed off on your settlement. I didn't ask questions. You weren't supposed to. That was the design. Marcus is very good at institutional capture. He isolates, manipulates, makes everyone feel special until they're not useful anymore. Then he makes them disappear with money and legal threats. She pulled out her own copy of the NDA. Same legal-size paper, same red stamp. My signature at the bottom where I'd approved the payment as COO. I'd signed it on a Tuesday afternoon between budget meetings. Didn't read it carefully. Trusted Marcus. Trusted the system. He told me I was brilliant, Nicole said. Her voice was quiet, controlled, like she was reading technical documentation. Special, different from other women in tech. He needed my vision for the engineering roadmap, private meetings, late-night Slack messages. I have screenshots. Want to see them? She showed me her phone. Same pattern as Olivia's messages. Same timestamps. Same language. You're the only one who truly understands. Working with you feels different. Coffee turned into 3 hours. Best conversation I've had all month. When I got pregnant, he changed. Suddenly, I was the problem. My performance was slipping. My judgment was questionable. He suggested I was too emotional for leadership. The board, with your signature, paid me $200,000 to resign, sign the NDA, and disappear. She looked at me, dead-on eye contact. You approved it, James. Your signature is right there. Guilt hit like cold water. Systems thinking mind doing the calculation. How many red flags had I missed? How many women had I failed? I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Fix it. You have power. Use it. Marcus needs to go, not just resign quietly. Public accountability. So the next woman who works for a Marcus Brennan has a precedent that someone actually cared. Her voice broke on the last word. First crack in the controlled facade. I've been an accomplice for 2 years. I can't anymore. She pushed her NDA across the table. Use this. Break my confidentiality if you need to. I'll testify. I'll go public. Whatever it takes. I looked at her, 29, brilliant, career destroyed by a predator I'd enabled, and realized the system I'd built so efficiently had been grinding up people while I optimized operations. Thank you, I said, and don't thank me. Just win. Emma found out 3 days later, not from me, not from her mother. She overheard a phone call. She showed up at my apartment at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, still wearing her Tech Vista hoodie, our company logo, our values. She'd been crying, mascara smudged, angry tears, not sad ones. Is it true? No greeting, just the question. Mom and Marcus, pregnant, all of it? I'd been planning how to tell her for days. Gentle conversation, context, explanation. All those plans evaporated. Yes. She pulled her company culture deck out of her backpack. 50 pages, glossy cover. She'd highlighted sections, annotated margins, post-it notes sticking out. Page 7, she said, voice shaking. Read it. I opened to page 7. We hold each other accountable, no matter the cost. Integrity isn't negotiable. I've been tweeting this, posting this on LinkedIn, defending Tech Vista to my friends when they said startup culture was toxic. I believed in this. In you two, you taught me to work hard, be ethical, earn things honestly. Her voice broke. Was that all fake? Was everything I believed real? She threw her employee badge on my kitchen table, plastic card with her photo. Junior software engineer Emma Jane Sullivan. The lanyard was still attached, red, white, and blue. I got this job on merit. At least I thought I did. Now everyone at the office will say it's because my mom slept with the CEO and my dad covered it up. I thought I earned this, but maybe I'm just another piece of the corruption. Emma, no. Let me finish. I've been documenting Marcus's comments to female engineers for 2 months. Inappropriate jokes. Mentorship offers that felt predatory. I was about to file an HR complaint. Then I find out my own mother is part of the pattern, and my father, she looked at me, betrayed, lost. You knew. How long did you know? 4 days. 4 days, and you didn't tell me. You let me keep working there. Keep defending a company built on lies. She picked up her badge, held it between us. I'm quitting. Today. I'll email my resignation tonight. I can't work somewhere that destroys people and calls it innovation. Emma, your career... My career? She laughed, bitter, young. Dad, I'm 22. I'll find another job, but I can't find another version of myself that has integrity if I stay there. You taught me that, even if you forgot it. She walked toward the door, stopped, turned back. I don't know if I can respect you if you stay. If you take Marcus's money, if you let this be okay because of the Series D or the IPO or whatever rationalization makes it feel less like betrayal. Her voice softened, aching. Please don't stay. Please. She left. The door closed. Her badge still sat on my kitchen table. My father showed up the next morning. Bob Sullivan, 72 years old. I hadn't seen him in 34 years. He'd left when I was 10. Single mom, 3 kids, no money. I ended up in foster care at 12 when she couldn't manage. Bounced through homes until Timothy Grant, good man, union organizer, adopted me at 16. Bob stood in my apartment doorway, looking old, gray, diminished by time and regret. How did you find me? LinkedIn. He almost smiled. Digital age makes it hard to disappear completely. Can I come in? I should have said no. Should have closed the door on 34 years of abandonment. But I was exhausted, empty. I opened the door wider. He saw the wedding ring box on the coffee table immediately. Blue velvet. Unopened since I'd left therapy. He picked it up, held it, put it down gently. Your wife? Ex-wife, soon. He nodded, like he understood things I hadn't said. I heard through your brother, we're in touch sometimes, that you were going through something, family emergency, took a guess what kind. We sat across from each other, kitchen table, 2 coffee mugs between us. Silence that held 34 years. I left because I thought I was weak, Bob said finally, voice rough, unpracticed. Your mother and I, we fought constantly. Money, kids, dreams that died. I told myself staying would destroy everyone. Walking away was the strong choice. Gave you all a chance without me dragging you down. He pulled out an old photo from his wallet, faded, creased. Young me, maybe 8 years old, holding his hand at a park somewhere. It took me 34 years to realize staying in something broken doesn't make you strong, it makes you a coward. But walking away from something that destroys you, that's not abandonment, that's survival. He held my eyes, father to son, decades compressed into this moment. You deserved better than a father who ran. Your daughter deserves better than a father who stays for the wrong reasons. Money, status, fear, whatever reason makes staying feel safer than leaving. I have $8 million in equity, 12 if I take Marcus's offer. I grew up with nothing, foster care. You know what nothing feels like. This is security I never had. And what's it costing you? Everything. Then it's not security, son. It's a cage. He stood up, walked to the door, turned back. I can't give you back those years. Can't be the father I should have been, but I can tell you, walking away from something that destroys you isn't abandonment. It's survival. You taught me that, son, by becoming everything I wasn't. He left. The old photo sat on my table next to Emma's badge and the wedding ring box. 3 generations, 3 different lessons about when to stay and when to go. I couldn't sleep that night. 2 a.m., 3 a.m. The Stanford Alumni magazine sat on my nightstand. I brought it home from the office. Marcus's face on the cover. Visionaries under 50. I opened it to page 42, his profile. The article was everything Marcus wanted the world to believe. Brilliant founder, visionary leader. The quote they'd highlighted, success is about building great teams and empowering them. I learned early that your people are your product. Surround yourself with the best and get out of their way. There was the photo. Marcus and Olivia at our Series C celebration, his arm around her shoulders, both smiling. Caption, Tech Vista Leadership celebrates $400 valuation and announces healthcare partnerships with 3 major hospital systems. I've been proud of that photo 6 months ago. Sent it to my mother, to Timothy, to Emma. Look what we built. Look what we achieved. The pages were slick. Glossy magazine coating. That chemical ink smell. The photo was 4-color process. Professional, staged, fake. I found a pen, blue ballpoint, clicked it open, started writing in the margins. Next to Marcus's quote about empowering people, I wrote, by sleeping with them. Next to the success metrics, 400 Maller valuation, 300 employees, 50% year-over-year growth, I wrote, built on $600K in hush money and complicit COO. Next to the innovation claims, revolutionary AI diagnostics saving lives, changing healthcare, I wrote loans, we're changing the world, but we're just changing who gets hurt. The pen pressed hard on that last line. You could feel the indentation through the page. Ink showed darker where I pushed harder. I closed the magazine, the sound of pages slapping together, heavy, final. I opened my laptop, pulled up a blank document, started writing my resignation letter. The real one, not an ultimatum, not a negotiation, just the truth. 3:17 a.m. The apartment was quiet. Just the sound of my fingers on the keyboard and 34 years of learning when to stay and when to go. I wrote, I built the machine that ground up my marriage. I debugged everything except the most important thing, my complicity. Some systems can't be fixed from inside. Some cultures need to burn down before they can be rebuilt correctly. I'm not the person to rebuild this one, but I won't be the person who protected it anymore. I wrote, effective immediately. I wrote, with no regret for this decision, only regret that I didn't make it sooner. Fountain pen this time, heavy cotton paper, blue ink. The pen made scratching sounds as I signed my name, James Robert Sullivan, COO, for 30 more seconds, then just James. My phone buzzed. Emma. 3:44 a.m. She was awake too. Dad, I can't sleep. I keep thinking about everything. About you. About whether you'll stay. I looked at the resignation letter, fountain pen signature still drying. I don't know if I can respect you if you stay. I love you. But I need to know you're the man who taught me integrity matters more than money. Please don't stay. Please be that man. I took a photo of the resignation letter, sent it to her. I'm not staying. I love you too. She responded immediately. Thank you. I'm proud of you, Dad. 3 words from a 22-year-old daughter who just quit her first real job on principle, worth more than $12 million. What would you do? Stay for $8 million and teach your daughter that money matters more than integrity? Or walk away from everything you built and show her some things can't be bought? Be honest, there's no wrong answer, just different values. I'll tell you what I chose. But first, you need to see what happens when systems start to break. I delivered the resignation letter to David Parker directly, not the board, not Marcus, the lead investor, the man with $80 million on the line. His office was in Menlo Park, Sand Hill Road, Venture Capital Corridor. I walked in at 9 a.m. on a Friday, carrying my handwritten letter and a USB drive with everything. Nicole's testimony, Slack messages, settlement agreements, garage footage, timestamps, Emma's documentation of Marcus's behavior with female engineers. You're really doing this, David said, not a question. I already did it. This is just notification. I put the letter on his desk. He picked it up, read it. The fountain pen signature, the pressed hard indentations on certain words. Complicit. Dignity. Effective immediately. You know what this does to the Series D? Yes. 300 people lose their jobs if we can't close the round. Patients lose access to technology that could save their lives. Investors lose $80 million, all because Marcus is a serial predator, and this board enabled him with my signature, my operations, my systems. I built the machine, David, and it's been grinding up women while optimizing for growth metrics. So yeah, I'm blowing it up unless you fix it first. We can't just fire a founder CEO without... Yes, you can. Emergency board vote, breach of fiduciary duty, pattern of behavior that creates massive legal liability. The math is simple. Marcus is a bigger risk than I am. You're a pragmatist. Run the numbers. He did. I could see it happening behind his eyes. Risk calculations, probability trees, expected value. Venture capitalists are good at cold math. What do you want? Marcus out as CEO, independent HR audit, every settlement agreement reviewed, real accountability, not PR, not taking time to focus on family, actual consequences. And if we do that, you stay? No, I'm done. But I won't go public, won't talk to reporters, won't burn down the company. I'll transition my role quietly, give you 60 days instead of 30. The Series D has a chance if you move fast. David looked at the USB drive, at the resignation letter, at me. Emergency board meeting tomorrow morning. Be there. The board met at 8 a.m. Saturday, all 7 members. Marcus walked in confident, Didn't know what was coming. David opened with, "We're voting today on Marcus's position as CEO." Marcus's face went white, then red. "You can't. This is my company. It's our company. We own 60%. Emergency governance provision. You signed it in the Series B. Section 4.3. Removal for cause with simple majority." David turned to the other board members. "Evidence has emerged of a pattern of inappropriate relationships with employees. 3 settlement agreements totaling $600,000, all signed by our COO without full disclosure of circumstances, creating legal liability, reputational risk, and potential SEC scrutiny if we go public with this unresolved." He played the USB drive, Nicole's testimony, Slack messages, timestamps, settlement documents with my signature. Additional evidence suggests current ongoing relationship with VP of Product Management, wife of our COO, resulting in pregnancy. Offer of equity increase to secure silence. This constitutes breach of fiduciary duty and creates immediate liability. Marcus stood up. "This is a witch hunt. James is sabotaging the company because he can't handle his personal..." "Sit down." David's voice was ice. "I'm not asking, I'm informing. Board vote. All in favor of accepting Marcus Brennan's resignation as CEO effective immediately?" Silence. Then, one by one, 6 hands went up. Marcus's stayed down. "Motion carries, you're out. Legal will contact you about separation terms. Equity vesting stops today. Non-compete clause is in effect. You're done." Marcus looked at me. Pure hatred. "You destroyed this company." "No, I stopped enabling you. There's a difference." He left. Door slammed. The conference room felt lighter immediately. David turned to me. "We need you to stay interim CEO until we find replacement. Name your terms." "No." "James, I'm not the person to rebuild this. I was part of the problem. You need someone who wasn't here, someone who can audit everything without protecting the past. But I'll give you 60 days transition. Train my replacement, close the operations gaps, then I'm gone." I pulled out the equity certificate, the original one, $8 million. Signed it over to Emma, right there at the conference table. "My daughter earned this, not by working here, by having the integrity to walk away when it mattered. Money from building something rotten isn't wealth. It's evidence. She gets it. Clean. To do whatever she wants. That's my separation package." David looked at the equity transfer. "You're walking away from $8 million. "No, I'm walking towards something I can actually live with. Different math." The TechCrunch article broke 3 days later. TechVista CEO ousted after pattern of relationships with employees, $600K in secret settlements. Nicole had gone public, named source, full testimony. The article quoted our culture deck, ironically, integrity, innovation, impact, unless you're a female employee reporting to the CEO. My phone exploded. LinkedIn messages, emails, texts from people I hadn't heard from in years. Reporters, headhunters, competitors. Everyone wanted the story. Olivia's lawyer sent papers the same day. Divorce proceedings. She wanted the equity. Didn't know I'd already transferred it to Emma. Wanted the house. Wanted support. The papers included a demand for the paternity test results. The DNA test kit was still sitting unopened in my apartment. 2 sealed kits, cardboard box, antiseptic smell, genetic certainty labs branding. Olivia had left it there weeks ago. Expected me to take it, prove something, quantify the betrayal. I'd never opened it. Her lawyer's letter said, "Client demands paternity test results for child support calculations." I wrote back, "Tell your client I don't need a test to know this marriage is over. That's the only certainty that matters. She can pursue child support from the biological father through proper legal channels." The divorce took 4 months. California is a no-fault state, but adultery affects asset division. I kept the apartment, she kept the house, we split the retirement accounts. Emma was 22, no custody issues. The baby was due in July. I wouldn't be there. Wouldn't pretend, wouldn't step up. Some boundaries cost everything, and they're worth it. Marcus's keynote at TechCrunch Disrupt was canceled. His speaking agency dropped him. The board positions he held at other startups, gone. Stanford quietly removed him from their notable alumni page. His career didn't end with an explosion. It ended with quiet deletions, disappearing from places he'd been celebrated. The Series D round delayed 6 months. Investors nervous. But David hired a new CEO, female, experienced, from outside the company. She instituted independent HR oversight, brought in investigators, reformed the culture deck, changed we hold each other accountable, from marketing copy to actual policy. Tech Vista survived, grew, eventually went public. The technology worked, saved lives, changed healthcare, just like we'd promised. I wasn't there for any of it. Six months after the board meeting, I was sitting in a different office, smaller company, 80 people, Series A, startup, healthcare analytics, different product, different team, different culture. My contract had specific clauses. I'd insisted on them: independent HR reporting, mandatory bias training, quarterly culture audits by external firms, zero tolerance policy for relationships between supervisors and direct reports. My role as COO was contingent on those protections. "You're paranoid," the founder had joked during negotiations. "No, I'm educated by experience. These clauses are non-negotiable." She'd agreed, signed, understood. Emma had gotten a job at a competing AI startup, better title, better pay, signing bonus that made her financially independent. They'd hired her specifically because she'd quit Tech Vista on principle. "We need people who choose ethics over politics," the hiring manager said. She'd taken the equity transfer I'd signed over. $8 million in Tech Vista stock, now worth $10 million after the IPO. She'd framed the certificate, hung it in her apartment with a handwritten note underneath. "Dad chose me over 8 hours. That's wealth." Olivia was navigating single motherhood. Marcus paid child support through legal channels. Quietly, his lawyer negotiated to keep his name off public records. Olivia's sister, who'd struggled with infertility for years, had unexpectedly become Olivia's closest support. Sometimes destruction creates unexpected families. Bob and I had coffee once a month now, awkward conversations. 34 years don't disappear over lattes, but we were trying, building something new from ruins. The wedding ring box sat on a shelf in my apartment. Blue velvet, not hidden, not displayed, just there. A reminder that some things end so other things can begin. And today was my first all-hands meeting at the new company as their COO, building something again, different this time. The conference room held 80 people, laptops open, coffee cups, hoodies with the new company logo, young faces, old faces, people who'd chosen this startup for different reasons. I stood at the front, nervous. I'd given hundreds of presentations, but this one mattered differently. "Most of you know I came from Tech Vista," I started. "Some of you probably read the TechCrunch article, saw the headlines. I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen. I'm not going to pretend I handled everything perfectly." The room was quiet, listening. I helped build a company that was brilliant at innovation and terrible at integrity. We had a culture deck, beautiful values, printed on glossy pages. We hold each other accountable, but we didn't. We protected the powerful and paid off the vulnerable, and I enabled that system because I was good at operations and bad at asking hard questions. I paused. This part was hard. I'm here because I learned something expensive. Culture isn't what you write on the wall. It's what you do when no one's watching the Slack messages. It's who you protect when things get complicated. It's whether you choose money or people when the choice costs you everything. Someone in the back was recording on their phone. Good. I wanted this on record. We're building healthcare technology that will help people. Save lives, maybe. That matters. But if we build it by destroying the people who work here, we're not saving anyone. We're just changing who gets hurt. And that's not innovation. That's just exploitation with better marketing. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. Kept going. So here's my promise. I'm your COO. I run operations. But I will never optimize operations at the expense of human dignity. I will never sign off on something I don't understand. I will never protect someone powerful by sacrificing someone vulnerable. And if I do, if I fail that promise, I expect you to hold me accountable. That's what real culture looks like. The room was absolutely silent. Then someone started clapping, then another, then the whole room. My phone buzzed again. I pulled it out. Text from Emma. She was in the back row. I hadn't seen her come in. Proud of you, Dad. I looked up, found her in the crowd. She was smiling, tears on her cheeks. Happy ones this time. I smiled back. For the first time in 8 months, I felt like I could breathe. If you've ever had to rebuild after losing everything, a job, a marriage, a dream that turned out to be someone else's lie, tell me about it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this story moved you, hit subscribe. I tell stories about people who choose hard right over easy wrong. About boundaries that cost everything and integrity that's worth it. I'll see you in the next one. After the meeting, people came up, asked questions, shared their own stories. One woman told me about leaving her last job because of harassment. One man talked about watching his father stay in a corrupt company for 30 years and hating himself. Emma waited until everyone else had left. That was good, she said. Real. Yeah? Yeah, you didn't make it sound easy. You didn't make yourself sound perfect. You just told the truth. She paused. That's the dad I remember, before everything got complicated. We walked to the parking garage together. Our cars were on different levels. She hugged me before she left. First real hug in months. Mom called me yesterday, she said. Asked if I'd visit. Meet the baby when it comes. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Take your time. There's no timeline for complicated. She said she's sorry for what it's worth. It's worth something, not everything, but something. Emma nodded, started to walk away, turned back. Hey, Dad, that thing you said in the meeting about culture being what you do when no one's watching, that's going to be a meme by tomorrow, in a good way. Great. I've always wanted to be a LinkedIn thought leader. She laughed, real laugh, the sound of healing. I drove home alone, stopped at a coffee shop, sat outside, watched people walk by. Normal people with normal problems. No $8 million, no TechCrunch articles, no board meetings deciding who deserves dignity. My phone buzzed. Email from David Parker. James, TechVista IPO is official. Q2 next year. You were right. We should have moved faster. New CEO is doing well. Company is healthier. Wanted you to know. David P.S. Your equity transferred to Emma is now worth $14 post-IPO valuation. Hope she knows how lucky she is. I forwarded it to Emma with one line. You earned this by being brave when I almost wasn't. She responded immediately. We both earned it by choosing each other over everything else. That night, I couldn't sleep. Good insomnia this time, not the 3 a.m. panic of watching your life collapse, the restless energy of building something new. I opened my laptop, started writing, not a resignation letter, not a legal document, just thoughts. The Medium post published at midnight. What culture really means, a startup's reckoning. I wrote about the culture deck, about glossy values and operational reality, about how innovation became an excuse for exploitation, about the moment I realized I'd been complicit, about walking away from $8 million because some math doesn't balance. The post went viral by morning, 50,000 views by noon, 100,000 by evening. Comments flooded in, other tech workers sharing their stories, other COOs admitting complicity, other employees finding courage to speak up. One comment stuck with me. I've been in this industry 15 years. Everyone knows these patterns exist, but nobody with power talks about them. Thank you for using yours. Power. Funny word for what I had. I didn't feel powerful. I felt like someone who'd finally stopped being a coward. But maybe that's what power actually is. Not authority, not equity, not titles. Just the courage to tell the truth when staying quiet would be easier. Marcus sent me one email after the Medium post went viral. Subject line, "You destroyed me." Body. Hope you're happy. My career is over. My reputation is ruined. All because you couldn't handle your wife choosing someone better. You're vindictive and small. History will remember me as a visionary and you as the bitter operator who brought me down. I read it twice, then deleted it. History wouldn't remember either of us. TechVista would succeed or fail on its technology, not our drama. The patients who got better diagnoses wouldn't care who built the system. The employees who now worked in a healthier culture wouldn't remember my name in 5 years. That was fine. Good, even. Some victories don't need monuments, they just need to be real. Building something great doesn't require destroying someone good unless you're building it wrong. They're building it right now. The new TechVista, the new startups learning from old mistakes, the Emmas who quit on principle and get hired for it, the Nicoles who break their NDAs and survive, the Davids who choose accountability over short-term returns, and me. In a smaller office with 80 people and culture clauses in my contract and a daughter who texts, "Proud of you, Dad," from the back row. We're changing the world. But first we had to change what we consider acceptable. I sleep better now, not perfect, but better. The wedding ring box is still on the shelf. The equity certificate is framed in Emma's apartment. The culture deck from TechVista is recycling somewhere. The garage key fob is turned in. The Slack messages are archived as evidence for cases I'm not part of anymore. And I'm building again, carefully this time. With better blueprints, with people who understand that the best companies are built by people who stay human while they're building them. Emma was right. It wasn't all fake. The values were real. We just had to choose them when they cost us something. And they cost us everything, and they were worth it